work. Like, there you go.
Oh, hello everyone. My name is Crypto J, also known as Jamaal Solomon. And since we're not trying to be professional, you probably heard recording, but you are watching the 36 Chambers of Crypto Taxes, in which we talk about crypto taxes and much more stuff. And we have a series that called You Best Protect Your Assets. Shout out to Wu-Tang, tribute to them. And this series, I try to interview different professionals about how to protect your assets, whether it's professional, personal, business. Because a lot of times, when as a tax accountant, I talk to my clients, yeah, they may have the best product. Everybody loves marketing because it's sexy. But when you ask them stuff about, are you legally protected? Are you investing your money correctly? They don't know what's going on. So I like to expose y'all to my network of great individuals, and we're going to educate y'all. Always remember, you got to do your own research. You're not going to become an expert after listening to us for 10 minutes, so don't think about it. However, you will have the contact information on myself and our future guest today. And today we have Lee Pham. Not only is he part of the greatest fraternity in the world, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, he's also a strategy and corporate development leader, an intellectual property expert, experienced chief of staff, and some other corporate nice tags. And we're gonna talk about why should we care about IP. All right. And thank you for coming out today.
Thank you for having me.
Introduce.
Good to be here. Glad I'm in the house with a real hip hop fan. Shout out to the Woo.
Nice, nice. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Lee Pham, and of the list of different things that I do in my career, mainly I am a patent attorney and an intellectual property expert. And so I focus on the strategic and legal aspects of IP, intellectual property, and how to position that inside of businesses in order to gain a competitive advantage.
Okay, okay. And prior to really getting to know Lee being another a jazz chat group and all that stuff, IP to me felt like it was like IP Man, the little karate show thing. I was like yeah, IP Man, but he educates us and like, hey, this is what IP, and then he breaks it down like, oh shoot, people need to know this because I feel like, especially I deal with small business clients. I love small business. I don't deal with the mega corporations, and I feel like they don't know what IP is because they could have the greatest idea and they think since they're so small, nobody's gonna notice them or steal their ideas, anything like that. But I think everybody's stuck on I got a trademark, I got a trademark, I got a trademark, but you ask them about why IP, they don't know. So why should small businesses care about IP?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And small businesses should care about intellectual property for the same reasons that Fortune 100 companies care about and protect their intellectual property. It is an important, critical business asset. And remember two words here: risk and reward. Intellectual property, positioning it well, being smart about your IP is all about managing risk and reward for your business. It doesn't matter if you're a solo practice, it's just you, or if you're looking for seed financing, if you're running a growing startup and you're in successive rounds of fundraising. Intellectual property matters in different ways for every business owner, and you should always be thinking about it. There's an interesting figure. So about 90% or 80% of business value is intangible assets. So that's everything that's not physical, right? In the 1970s, that number was much smaller. It might have been 25% of business value was intangible, and the rest was physical plant, physical things that the business owns. Today, we live in a knowledge economy, and the valuation of intangible assets, which includes intellectual property, has become the vast majority of business value. Most of your business, especially if you're a very small business owner just getting started and trying to grow and scale your business, is intangible assets. And that a lot of that could be your intellectual property. And there's different flavors of IP, which we can quickly go over.
So give me a real short example of, what is one example, intangible example.
Yeah, so the different flavors, I'll just talk about that really
Okay.
quickly. Um, and we can tie the examples to that. And so the flavors are generally patents, trademark, copyright, trade secret, right? Patents are for inventions, right? Useful tools that do things. This does include software to a degree. Uh, Trademarks protect your brand likeness, so your iconography, the name of your company, etc. Copyright protects creative work, so any music, any written prose, your website. And trade secrets, that's a tricky beast, but basically it's whatever you keep under lock and key, right? So that's the formula for Coca-Cola. That's the original Google algorithm. That's the the seasoning in any secret sauce, right? That's your trade secret. And there's some difficult spaces to operate in when it comes to recipes and things like that. There are limitations on what can be protected, but those are the different flavors. Now, you asked for examples. What a lot of small businesses are concerned with, if you're a tech forward, tech leaning brand, tech leaning company, you have a few of these in play. You've got potentially inventions. Your software could be patentable. You want to talk to a patent attorney in order to figure that out. And so you've also got the name of your company, the likeness, you've got your trademark, you have your iconography and basically what you trade on. And copyright covers a lot, especially if you're creating a lot of media. So again, creative works, your website, and the like are covered by your copyright. And then, like I said, your trade secret, that's your secret sauce, right? Things that you just really can't disclose to other people. And so those are the four flavors. I think some of the thorny areas come into play where you get ready to go out and compete, where you go out and you have a supplier agreement, or you hire new employees and you want to hold them under a non-disclosure agreement or something like that. And so that's where the tricky areas come into play, that you really want to start to talk to a professional along with educating yourself, because it really helps for an IP professional and attorney to work with a client or a potential client who has at least some idea of the right questions to ask, right? So just showing up and saying, I need help, they'll give you help. They're going to charge you to think about the
Accordingly.
questions that need to be asked.
Yeah, and I hope people don't make the same mistake I made. I think until probably 1 or 2 years ago, when I had ideas, I used to like post them on social media real quick because of my family and friends and stuff like that. And I have a feeling that a lot of people do that, especially with their ideas, like, oh, why don't blah blah blah? I'm gonna do this and blah, blah. Listen, guys, you never know who's watching. You never know if they got a Lee on their side. They're like, oh, let's do this real quick. So I think we got to get into the mindset that if you honestly believe that it's a game changer idea or profitable idea, you got to spend the money to talk to someone like Lee and similar, because you don't want somebody to steal it before it gets off the ground, man.
Yeah, and it's not always about reaching out to a professional, although you should do that when you get to a certain point. It's it's being aware that there are triggers in the law, right? And so there are certain actions that if you take them, you could waive certain rights or start the clock on deadlines that would eventually cause you to potentially lose any rights that you might have with respect to your intellectual property. The other thing, in addition to time, I think, is location and geography. And so the internet
Mm.
makes everything accessible around the world. Understand that intellectual property law is a creature of the country that wrote those laws. And so IP law is generally standardized around the world, but there are differences. And so you can create a little bit of risk and potentially throw away some reward by entering a market digitally, or shipping to another market, or sending your prototypes out to suppliers or manufacturers in another market, and somehow lose your rights. And there's also the issue of gray goods and that kind of thing. We won't get into that. So having your designs, your physical stuff ripped off if you're shipping it out for someone to manufacture it. But again, all these considerations can be covered if you are thoughtful about talking to professional people knowledgeable in the field before you go and undertake these endeavors.
Yeah, and I always feel like we kind of do the opposite. We always do the how we're going to market, how people's going to see it. But I think you have to switch your mindset and say how you're going to protect, and then you worry about the sexiness of the market and stuff. But like we said, guys, we're going to close this up. But it's a series, so Lee, give them just a breakdown of what we might talk about, just the topics, little teaser.
Yeah, let's think about ownership, what you
Okay.
own, knowing what you own,
Hmm.
and how to protect that. Let's talk about what other people own and knowing where the boundaries are and how to make sure that you're not creating risk by potentially doing something, practicing something, marketing something that someone else already has a claim to. And then let's talk about the actual business positioning, right? And using your intellectual property potentially to raise capital or to make money in and of itself and be an actual income stream for your company.
So basically, guys, definitely listen to the next couple of videos that we're gonna do. Don't know the time, check on it because I'm not that, structured, but it's gonna be very informative and you're just gonna take your business to the next level. At minimum, when you talk to someone, at least you have the basic knowledge or you know how to research certain things. And that's our goal. We're not gonna make you an expert. So Lee, how can they find you?
So you can reach me by email at engage@leepham.com. My name is Leepham, fam, right? Uh, you can also just go straight to my website, leepham.com. Find me on LinkedIn as well.
If y'all can't find leadfam.com, I don't know what's going on because that's the easiest website in the history of websites. And also, we're going to have it in the description of our podcast and the YouTube. So you have no excuse, people. So until next time, Lee, let's make this happen. We'll appreciate you for your time. And oh, and I'm gonna try to get Lee to do it in person. I think the pandemic got us in this virtual mindset, but sometimes it's good to have the people in front of us. And hopefully towards the end of this year or early next year, we're gonna have a great thing. So if you have an idea or people that we want to partner with, let us know. You never know. We might come to you. Until next time.